examination. My name is Pooja Ranawat. The one thing that differentiates my previous attempts from this year's attempt was that when I had to do prelims, I tried solving questions the MCQ type. If it was mains, I focused extensively on answer writing. So I think one mistake that I made in the previous attempts was to not solve, but rather I kept reading a lot of material. Another mistake that I made, which I would like everyone to guard against, is for completion of books. मेरा लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ के हो गया है या मेरा GC लियोंग पढ़ के हो गया है. I started off with that attitude, and I think that is not what is required, but a total exam focused approach where you know that these are the areas that are important from UPSC paper point of view. This is the weightage given to certain areas, and we have to focus on reading and studying only those areas. So that was one major learning for me, that whenever you are reading any material, be it newspapers, be it your study books, be it any tests that you are solving, try and see if all that material comes together with your UPSC previous year's questions. I'd like to mention this was my 5th attempt, and previous 4 attempts I was not able to qualify prelims. So I think I would be better placed to tell you all the things that you must not be doing in this phase of preparation, which might deter you from cracking the exam in the first go. So one of the important things that I did not start with in the beginning was to have a clear-cut strategy. So I had a lot of book list decided for me. I had lot of material that I had accumulated, and in the process I made some mistakes. One of the first being insufficient revision. I read a lot of books, but I did not follow it up with revision. Second was to not make written notes of the material that I was reading. So in the process I started accumulating a lot of material, and towards the day of the exam I could not revise it all. Third was, for prelims especially, to not solve enough number of question papers, and even if I did, it was not that I revised all those question papers. So it always happened that on the day of the exam, though I knew that I have read a particular part, I was not able to solve it because I was not clear about the concept. So when you are preparing for the prelims exam, I think one thing you can really focus on is concept building and clarity about that concept. One of the other mistakes that I tended to make was to not be very decided beforehand about the number of questions that need to be attempted in the exam. In my first attempt, I solved around 65 to 70 questions, and I think that is exactly the place where I lost the bus, because you need to have an adequate number of questions that you attempt, which puts you in the race. So I think I would place that number at around 85 to 95 questions that we all must be solving. Besides all of this, I think practicing only that what you need to do on the day of the exam is very important. Another thing that we need to keep in mind would be to focus on the syllabus. For prelims, the syllabus more or less is general, but for mains we have 4 papers, and my this year's strategy was to know the syllabus by heart, to establish interlinkages between the papers and prepare my material accordingly. So coming back to the mistakes or the strategy part of it, I think for prelims, solving maximum number of questions is the only thing that works. This year I solved around 110 question papers, and I not only solved them, but I revised them, re-revised them, and also made short micro notes